Today is day 6 of working on receiving $100,000 within 30 days. I'm recording from my basement right now because I just don't want to worry about having to be really quiet. I've learned some new things that has impacted how I look at my challenge, and I want to share that with you guys. As you guys know, I am reading this book. This is a great book. The first lesson I learned is on patience. He basically talks about a concept in the book called infinite patience. And that's basically when you know and you're so certain that whatever you desire is happening in your life, and you don't have to worry about when or how, and you just allow it to happen in due time. And he talks about it further in the book. I did want to find something to read to you guys that really stood out to me, but I couldn't find it. So I'm just going to talk about how I received it. He also talks about in the book making demands from God, from the universe. In a sense, I'm kind of making a demand to have $100,000 in 30 days. I'm realizing that that's not necessarily the best thing to do because you attach yourself to an outcome and to a deadline instead of just allowing it to happen and to unfold. Now, how I'm looking at my challenge is I'm allowing myself to work towards manifesting this and receiving $100,000. And by the end of the 30 days, wherever I am is where I am. I'm not putting pressure on myself to have $100,000. I mean, that is the goal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, at the 30-day mark, by the 30-day mark, then it will eventually. I am allowing myself to do all that I believe is necessary for me, taking the advice and the guidance that I receive and applying it into my life, really working towards getting this money. But at the same time, I'm not attaching myself to that 30-day marker, but I am just documenting my process for the next 30 days. Damn, that thing is loud. All right, I got my headphones. Hopefully that is better. I'm going to read to you guys a passage for the next lesson that I learned. And it's crazy because when I feel like there's a lesson for me to learn that's really important, I'll hear it from multiple sources. So this lesson I actually heard from two sources, this book and a YouTube video, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Maintain privacy about your desires. As was stated earlier, sharing your manifestation efforts decreases the energy and deflects that energy into the ego's need to gain approval. You want the energy of your manifestation to be direct and as pure as possible. Furthermore, you want to avoid dissipating the energy that you are projecting by preventing it from becoming involved with any ego needs. When you are patiently detached, you have also detached yourself from any need to gain approval for your efforts. Of course, you may wish ultimately to share the results of your spiritual manifesting, but while you are incubating this divine experience with God, make every effort to keep it a private affair. A need to share it at this stage is an indication that you are focused on outcome and are attached to the results. So that kind of made me a little nervous, I guess you can say, or just like, damn, did I do the right thing by starting this series on YouTube? I understand where this book is coming from, and I'm glad that I read it because it's making me take a look at myself and really see what parts of me are moving from an ego place. So it's really making me take a look at myself. But at the same time, I've always had this deep desire to share my process as I'm working towards something and going through something instead of coming back to talk about the results. Like, I want to share this part of my process so people can see what it looks like. And whatever happens at the end of these 30 days is what happens. I feel like now that I've shared this process, I have to do more and heal more to make sure that I'm not moving out of insecurity and out of my ego. I am a part of a school community, a YouTube based school community. The owner of that school community actually talked about on YouTube how people should not speak on what they're going to do and just do it and then speak on it after it's done. And he thinks that when you speak on it before it's actually done, you kind of get the validation and the dopamine hits from people like congratulating you, which this book basically says the same thing. That also made me look at myself because I have done that. It was coming from a genuine place of wanting to share. However, some part of it is also my ego and wanting validation and wanting that dopamine. Now that I have these two new perspectives in my life, I am maneuvering a little differently. I've already started to share this process on YouTube and I don't regret it. I love that I'm sharing this process and I'm fully invested in sharing this process in the future. I will still share other challenges that I'm going to do and other things that I'm going to be working on. But, I'll pick and choose based on, the situation. Knowing this isn't causing me not to want to share anymore. I'm definitely still going to share, but it's causing me to look inward and to heal myself further so that I don't need validation from people. However my life unfolds by the end of this series is how my life unfolds. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful because my energy is already uplifted. I'm a different person than I was 5 days ago. I mean, how I navigate my day energetically is different. How I navigate my day productivity wise is different. So I know that the results that are going to come into my life, no matter what it is going to be great. And I've committed to completing all the challenges that I've attempted this year, but never finished, especially if I posted about it. These are things that I'm doing anyway for this to be a better person. Like, these are things that I'm doing for this challenge anyway, so I might as well document it and really get serious about it. And these are things that I'm being intuitively guided to do. So I will not be documenting it like how I'm documenting this. I will do it and create a video for it when I'm all done. I'm feeding my ego in a positive way, I feel, by doing this, because I'm allowing myself to complete something and to be victorious at something. Instead of getting validation from other people, I'm giving that validation to myself. A dopamine detox is the first place to start for me. I just want to make sure this process is as pure and high vibrational as possible. I'm thankful that I learned this lesson. So I'm just practicing not to be too attached to the time or the number, and I'm just allowing life to happen while continuously each day focusing on being better and better. And we'll see what happens at the end of the 30 days. I might have 100K or more. And if not, then we'll see what else I got. Okay? So that is all for today. Today is day 6. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning into my journey. I'll make sure that you subscribe and stay tuned for the rest of my 100K in 30 days challenge. Bye.